What's up, everyone? Welcome to Ash Talks Movies, and welcome to my review of Primate. This is the new horror movie from director Johannes Roberts, who co-wrote the script with Ernest Riera. The movie follows Lucy, a college student who returns home to Hawaii during a school break. When her father has to go away for work, Lucy and her friends decide to throw a party, but things go horribly wrong when the family's pet chimpanzee, Ben, goes on a killing spree after becoming infected with rabies. Before I jump into the review, if you'd like to support the channel, there are a couple of ways you can do that. Make sure you subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Also, jump into the comments and share your thoughts about the movie.
Ben?
Did something bite him?
Now, the story for Primate is pretty basic, and it's full of tropes and elements that you've seen before in other horror and slasher movies. You have teenagers who decide to throw a party when the parents are away, and of course things go horribly wrong. You have plot points that are predictable, and you have characters that continue to make bad decisions that get them deeper and deeper into trouble, and then ultimately leads to their death. Now, the characters here are pretty generic, and none of them really stand out. You even have a few characters that don't serve any purpose other than to show up and then die by the hands of the chimpanzee, which adds to the body count, but it doesn't really add to the story. However, I think what keeps the movie entertaining is that you're following characters who are trying to survive a deadly threat, and in that way, the movie succeeds. It delivers with the suspense and the gore. Now, Primate does a really good job of creating these moments where you're anxious about what's going to happen to the characters. More often than not, the thing that you expect to happen does happen, but the waiting and the building tension is what keeps you on the edge of your seat. Now, the gore in this movie is pretty brutal and bloody. When Ben, the chimpanzee, starts taking people out, it's one gruesome attack after another. He's ripping flesh off of people's faces, he's breaking bones, and he's biting limbs. And depending on your tolerance level, it can be pretty hard to watch. Primate also has some pretty good practical effects, and I definitely think that was the best direction to go with this, especially with Ben. Instead of using full CGI, the movie uses an actor in a suit for the chimpanzee. Miguel Torres Umba does a wonderful job of bringing Ben to life, and I think that's what made the scenes where Ben is wreaking havoc much more effective. Practical effects were also used for a lot of the gore in this movie, and again, I think that was just a very effective technique. Now, the cast for this movie is mostly made up of young or unknown actors who I think do a pretty good job with their performances, but the standout for me was Troy Kotsur. Now, this is an actor I was first introduced to in a movie called Coda, and I thought his performance was very good in that, and of course he ended up winning the Oscar. And his performance is really good here. Unfortunately, he's not in the movie very much, but it was nice to see him pop up in this. Now, Kotsur is deaf in real life, and so is his character in the movie. And I liked that inclusion, and also how sign language was incorporated into the movie. Despite its flaws, Primate is a fun movie. It's entertaining, it's suspenseful, it's well-paced, and at times funny. And what I appreciated about this movie is that it doesn't make you wait too long before it gets to the action. It starts off with a bang, and you pretty much know what you're getting yourself into within the first 5 minutes. You know, January is typically the dumping ground for the movies that the studios aren't really that confident about. And every once in a while, a movie comes along and it kind of breaks the rule in that regard. And Primate, I definitely think, is that movie. It's not great, but it's a good time. So those are my thoughts on Primate, which is out in theaters this week. Do you plan on seeing the movie? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. So that does it for me, everyone. I'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.